I'm Nanette Hyer Bohl. I'm one of Grandfather Hyer's younger grandchildren. I was born in this house in 1929, April 2nd. The Hyer Boot Company was started by my grandfather, Charles H. Hyer. He died almost 10 years before I was alive. He was a businessman, a true businessman. When he came to Kansas, he was seeking his fortune, but he had also learned a shoemaking business from his father. Then later he came to Olathe to teach at the School for the Deaf. He eventually started making shoes in this little house he was living in. Had the lone cowboy come in to the shop and ask him if he could make a boot that would fit a stirrup, which would mean it needed to have a higher heel and a narrow toe, because they were all made like military boots with a wide toe and a shoe heel. Grandfather said he would try to do that, and he did, and I think they were sent to Colorado to the Cowboy, and he was quite happy with what they talked about and designed, and that's where the word got out about his boot making. Grandfather business grew. He had offers to leave Olathe, but he wouldn't leave. He said, "This is where I got my start, and this is where I would want to stay." In 1913, he bought the old hotel on Chestnut. He converted it into a boot factory, and they had a fine party, so it was said. If you go downtown, you can still see the alley where it would have sat, and it was right almost out on the street. In 1920, he had the largest cowboy boot business in the world. The factory had grown enough that they had sent out in a year's time $2.5 million worth of cowboy boots and shoes. Had shipped boots all over the country. He had started made to measure that he could send out to all the western states. They could mail order their boots by making their own measurements. Billy, the kid, scratched out a letter when he was in Mexico to have get a pair of boots. They made his boots and then shipped them to Mexico. James Brothers got their boots there, and we had a fire in the early 40s that burned up a lot of the lasts that the boots were made on, the wood lasts. And up until that time, they had the James Brothers and Billy the Kid's lasts. Well, Rogers, he ordered all his boots from us, and when he was in the plane crash, he had his orders in his pocket. Grandfather would go yearly to Chicago. I guess they had a immigration, and he'd go looking for shoemakers to come to Olathe. We had these foreign shoemakers, and a lot of them weren't married, and they were in a foreign country and got their paycheck, and then they'd get drunk. Not all of them did, but the county jail was just a block away, and they took his work to him, and he could do it while he was in the jail. He'd make boots in jail. He also had nearly a fourth of his, in the later years after, really getting the boot factory going, was deaf. It was financials in the 60s. There again, you were having this change in the shoemaking business in the United States, and it affected the boot company as well. I was proud of it, and I am proud of it up to this day.